Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Stonehearth with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to Alpha 19, although yes, the title is still Alpha 18, because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be dealing with this, because apparently I am terrible at keeping track of anything, and Alpha 19 has gone onto the stable branch without me knowing it was anywhere near being finished. So, in Alpha 19, for the most part, I'm not looking into it yet, so a lot of the new things I'm going to be ignoring, at least for this episode, as I think about how I'm going to deal with the change of alphas. Am I going to simply incorporate it into this season? Am I going to rush this season through, ignoring the new updates and then start a new one? Or am I going to stop the season in its tracks? Very, very unlikely, by the way, so please don't be worried about that. Now, with Alpha 19, the one thing I do know which has came through is that the Raya's Children, the faction we are currently not playing, the Desert Dwelling faction, have now got a campaign, or at least have got some storyline to go along with what they were already doing, which is pretty darn fantastic, in addition to a new soundtrack. So they have their own background music, it's all nicely updated, so next time we do a new season, when we have maximum citizens and we're happy with our village, we will play as the Raya's Children and we will play on hard mode. So that's definitely going to happen in the future. I'm just not sure how we're going to continue with this one. Most likely, I'm just going to rush towards the end of the season now. We already have finished the campaign. We can easily start the campaign fighting the enemies, not the campaign, but the keeping track of the battles, putting down the different standards so the orcs will attack us. We can do all of that very quickly and build up our village, so expect quite a few Stonehearth videos in the next few days/weeks. Back in the real world and out of the menu, here we are with our newest fellow who has been renamed the Bronze Knight. So we now have the Black Knight, the Bronze Knight, and the Silver Knight, who all need the Knight weapon or the Knight shield to level up, and once we have those, I will knight all of them. In fact, just make me 4 of them to level up the blacksmith as well, as we do still need to make things like the two-handed sword and the iron pike, which for some reason isn't being made yet. Where is our blacksmith? We definitely had one, or did we demote the blacksmith? No, we definitely did. Any reason why you're not doing your job? I'm watching you and being very confused why you're not doing what you should be doing. Okay, why are you doing all of that when you actually have a job to do and I've already gave you the order to do so? Let's have a quick explore why. Well, that was a little bit weird. As soon as I made him no longer a blacksmith and then re-promoted him, he instantly figured out what to do. I'm not quite sure what was wrong there, and I will have to pay attention to our other jobs just to make sure going into Alpha 19 didn't cause any problems. It did last time with a couple of IDs, so I had to swap things around. So very much so this could also be happening here. This is also now being ignored for some... Oh, because we now have wood, so we can now build the blacksmith house. Okay, that's fine. You're all doing the right thing. Well done. So, for this episode, for this video, the main 2 goals we're going to have is to make the final pedestal and to start work on making our sweatshop, which is going to go over here for all of our tailors to work in. I want this to be quite a large building, quite a grand-looking building, because at minimum I would like 3, maybe 4 at minimum tailors, and then dedicating all of this corner here to the growing of silkweed. Our weed will be sold far and wide, and we will become very wealthy because of it. And for some reason that sounds completely delightful. But first we have this house to build, and we have the blacksmith house to build, and I've started work on what is going to eventually be either a new alchemist lab or something for the carpenter. Or was that the carpenter? Never mind, this is the carpenter's hut, this will be the blacksmith hut. I want it to be more stone looking, so I'm not quite sure how to finish it off, but I do want it in at least a similar style to the building we are building currently. Now, let's figure out how to do that next monument. Now, I believe this is the church one, since we have the military and we have the craftsman. The Fountain of Plenty, we need gold, we already have that, and we need food donation boxes, which I believe comes from the cook. Food donation box, we need a basket of corn, we need roast mutton, a rack of roast mutton in fact, so we need to kill some of our sheep. We need some peasant bread, which is easy enough to do, and we need some basically chicken pot pie. So we need corn. We need corn to continue with that. And so I'm going to remove this one over here. I'm going to hire a new farmer because we're already struggling again, and that will be... Who will be the new farmer? Dracula the farmer, Elvis the farmer, Bolin the farmer, but you will make a really good cleric. Bear Grylls, you're good at getting food. You're going to be a farmer as soon as I make you a new farmer's item. I totally know what the farmer's item is called. I know I have forgotten. I'm now trying to look for it. And we have no new people. The farmer's hoe. I knew that. That was obvious. Everyone knew that. In fact, make me 4 of them so I don't have to ask you again, because that gets very annoying very fast. I do need a new shepherd still. So we will need some chicken and everything else, but... how am I going to make sure this works? I think what we need to do is put the donation pot things in now. I was about to call them pots for some reason. Yes, put the donation pots in there now and put them at the top. So as soon as we have all the other ingredients, this will instantly be built. So that requires... okay, we can already almost make that. So put that in as well. And ask for 2 of them, so we have 1 spare for food. Then do the same with everything else. Did we need peasant bread? We did. Make 4 of those. Actually, no, just make all of the minimums first. So let's change that around from the pie having 2 of them to the pie only having 1 of them. There we are. What else did we need? We also needed the bread, the mutton, the corn. The corn is obviously a raw ingredient, and this will go there as well. So as soon as we have all the other ingredients, that is when we will harvest the 2 animals needed. Thankfully, we have a lot of chickens, but we only have 2 sheep. Ah, hello, Bluebell. So what I need to do is remove one of these, like this one, or at least change it, not rabbits, change it over to sheep, so we have some spare sheep for when we need to harvest them. Okay, everyone, continue what you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and put some corn down. We've had a bit of a shift of jobs. We now have Punk as our newest cleric, we have Bolin as our newest herbalist, and the Bronze Knight and the Silver Knight are now actually knights. Sadly, the Black Knight is a little bit too low level, but as soon as he levels up, he will also become our newest knight. And yet again, we have no new people. We really do need to start harvesting weed a lot faster. Here we are, some delicious silkweed for tapestries and nothing illicit. A brand new merchant, so this is one of the upgraded merchants they were talking about before. So I am going to purchase those stone doors because they look awesome and I can't be bothered to build them myself. Everything else I've already got in stock, and it seems like we have a couple of these as well. I would like the inn sign, I would like the potter's sign, and we can make the other 2 easily. In fact, we already have the herbalist sign, so we don't need that. So thank you very much. And now I will sell some stuff. But before we do that, I would just like to talk about these market stalls, because we're probably going to keep this type of pattern in the future. And a few people pointed out something which is a little bit annoying. It turns out these 2 aren't completely symmetrical, and some people lost their minds about this. But sadly, that's just how it's going to be, because if we try to move one of these, let's just place one down so I can show you, there we are, it simply can't line up. The reason is, you can't flip one of these 180 degrees and keep symmetry, because it's not a perfectly symmetrical item, so it's always going to stick out as long as we want it to face the correct way. So something we're going to have to live with in this blocky, generally very symmetrical world. And all of you can be harvested. A large group of invaders fight off against our upgraded footmen and our new legion of knights. In addition to the fact we now have 2 clerics. Although that knight is taking a serious beating because he's only an apprentice. Although all of you should really try and focus on those clerics. Archers, you're being very annoying again. I love you to bits, you do so much damage, but sometimes I just wish you went to the correct place automatically. Now kill that archer, he's the only one doing real damage to you. Their footmen aren't as powerful. Though saying that, we are losing a lot of health, so maybe... Stop. Okay, where's our big cleric? You there. Get nice and close so your area of effect heal will work. Does it really take all of you to try and fight here? You're low on health, so are you. You, on the other hand, can back off and start fighting these guys. What I need to do is make them focus fire. We might actually lose a fight. This is horrible. Are you both footmen, or are you both their knights? You're a knight, you're a footman, and you're a footman. So focus on their footman first. There we are. Kill their damage dealers first, then focus on the tanks. Oh, I see. The knights do have shields. That makes it a lot easier to see what we're doing. Next on to him. Our archers have finally arrived, which would have made killing that archer so much easier earlier on. And then focus... May as well focus on their knight now, since we have it surrounded already. Moving on to defeat their archer. Well done, everyone. We need more archers. That's the problem. Having so many knights, because of the naming, just makes our damage quite low. Are you doing that because you're trying to stick with the clerics who are trying to heal you? Well, move back. Just go back. It looks a lot more reasonable. Okay, how's everything going? This is making good progress. The new house is almost finished, and our corn is being harvested. So, what do we have? What I should really do is stop making things out of corn, but we do need that for our chicken meat, which is actually very, very annoying. That uses wheat, okay. We still don't have any baskets of corn, really? I could have sworn I saw them being harvested a moment ago. At some point, I moved our oven. I don't know when I did this, but apparently I did, which was fine, except for it meant I couldn't even make the bread as soon as I had the flour, so that was a little bit annoying, but problem diverted, it's now gone, which means we can cook everything else when we get it. We do now have the meat available to us, so all we're waiting for is corn. Still, just consistently waiting for corn. Hello, Scorchspring. 3 Frostnap flowers, and he will give me watermelon seeds. Definitely. Yes, 100%. And we do have a new person, who should arrive anytime now. Hello there, Tippy. Ah, Tippy's an adorable name. Whoa. Stop giving me perfect knights. I do not need knights anymore. Miss Tippy here will become an archer. That is her destiny. Well, maybe. Oh, I don't know. I don't really need any more soldiers, but if I did have a new soldier, I'd make an archer. We already have 2 footmen and 2 archers for damage. We have 4 knights for tanking, and we have 2 healers. We could turn her into a cleric. We could make her into a very, very tanky, powerful cleric. I'm not too sure, but for now, Miss Tippy here will just be a worker, because we do need those as well. So you can continue doing what you do. Well, that's somewhat annoying. Well, first of all, apparently they do now socialise, so that's what the talking thing was. But a lot of my farmers, rather than harvesting the fields, even when it was needed to be done, were selecting to move things around. It seems like their priority isn't the job first, which I really thought it would be. So from now on, they can no longer do anything except for their job, which means they should actually work, which would be very nice indeed, because look, all of this wheat over here needs to be harvested. There we are, all working the fields. That's what I wanted to see. Well, I didn't expect that. I always knew that removing that would definitely make them more efficient at the one thing I've kept, but I honestly thought there would be some kind of priority system, and I really thought jobs would be the first one. Apparently not. Our first donation was just built, and I'm really hoping they can't actually eat these. I know it sounds silly, but I wouldn't put it past the halflings in this game to eat a donation. Also, that was a very fast fight that apparently dropped fox jerky. Did you just kill a fox? Both of the donation boxes are now finished, and it's time to make our final fountain, the Fountain of Plenty. Although this is the only one actually called a fountain, by the looks of things, they actually all are fountains. It's just the others have more impressive titles. This one is simply called Plenty. A brand new day, sadly no new person, but we do now have the Fountain of Plenty, which has a chicken shooting water into the air, which definitely makes it the best fountain by a long shot. Look, there's a carpenter's saw inside of a log. Look, a sword and a shield. a chicken spitting water into the air, with gold coins in the water below. You cannot beat this monument. But there we are, all 3 monuments are now down, and the farmers have actually harvested everything, so well done to you just finishing off here. A brand new day, sadly no new person, but the farmers are doing what they are supposed to be doing. Isn't it lovely to see all of these fields actually seeded? So with that, it's time to move on to our next goal, which of course is to get to maximum citizens, and so we need a place for our weavers to actually do their weaving, which will be right over here. So what I think I'm going to do is have 4, maybe 5 weaver sections at the bottom, and then on the top have a normal looking house, in a similar way to our carpenter building and eventually our blacksmith building. That way they're all of the same style, and you can tell it's one of the working houses rather than one of the either the inn or one of the just standard living quarters, or perhaps even the storage. It has its own unique style which only the crafters will have. I think I'm actually going to leave it at 4 because we can very easily add more than 1 person per section here, although we can start off with only 4, and apparently there's a very dangerous goblin which was instantly destroyed. Well, not that dangerous then really, but let's pretend it was incredibly dangerous. So how I'm going to do this is we'll have the floor here, like so. Put down our doorway. And by doorway I mean walls, because I was looking at the doorway while I was doing that. And then we can have a small overarching roof here. I now realise the wording I wanted to say was overhanging, not whatever I actually ended up saying just then. I really can't focus and speak. It's a big weakness of mine, which actually was really, really bad back at university. Every time I tried to do a presentation, the amount of words I ended up mixing up was somewhat impressive. But at least I ended up getting good grades, so I mean, I've still got my degree, which is pretty darn nice, but it was a painful experience during pretty much every single presentation ever. I have no idea how I passed those. Also, I don't like doing these. These are incredibly boring. But that does look pretty nice, though. Very similar style to how the regular standard roofs are done, just a little bit more compact. I think that looks nice. It looks clean and dandy, and everyone's happy with its existence. Especially me. The only problem I do have is how I'm going to do the corners. I could have a quick look-see at how they're done in the blueprint. So how is it done over here? Oh, I see. So it would be something like that. Yeah, that does actually work pretty well. And also I've gone 1 too low there, which is going to really confuse the builder, so I'll try and get rid of that as soon as possible. But first, do I want 1 more? Do I want it like this, or do I want it like this, and then we could perhaps build a strut on the side? I think perhaps like this. I am so bad at placing those blocks, but there we are. Yeah, I quite like that. It's very simple. I'm not quite sure I like the very last one, though, so maybe like that. Maybe. We'll see how it looks as I put it down 1 more. Okay, yeah, that works. I do like that. So that is how the bottom's going to be done. I will leave them empty, because that means I can customize them as we go. Although, do I want to give them the luxury of having a light in their rooms? I think I will, and we'll do it like this. Just 1 for each? Yeah, that makes sense. And there we are. All of those now have some light in their rooms. I guess the corners can have an extra one because they are the more... Actually, no, not this section, though. I was going to say more privileged, but I would like this section here to be essentially a landing to get to the top section. So, door, door, door. Let's have a standard door like so. Go with these slabs, and... Shall we go with wood? Or shall we go with stone? I think we should go with stone. Stone looks more like it's built to last. And of course it blends in with what we've already built. Like that. That seems reasonable. Staircase, go with the lighter stone first, for only 2. And then for 1, we'll have the darker stone. No. And then for 1, we'll have the darker stone. And that looks nice. So what I should do is remove this section over here, and then we can build up here as a bit of a guard. The trader returns, which means I should now have some new types of seeds. Hello there. Yes, I am very, very willing indeed, which means now we should have the new item, so please learn that. I believe that was watermelon? Was it watermelon? Yes, indeed it was! Watermelon! We have even more types of food now. Glorious. And the farmers are doing a fantastic job keeping up on things. I still can't believe how much of a difference we made by just swapping their behaviour a little bit. Now back to this building, let's go on erase this over here. A dangerous goblin, which means not dangerous in the slightest. And let's build up inside here. Well, that's a little bit annoying. We apparently can't place the fences directly next to the wall because it does this. Now I'm hoping we can just place them anyway, but just in case, and to make sure our halflings don't go mental, we'll just leave it as that corner. So there we are, we've got a way up, and then inside, I actually have very little idea what I'm going to put in there. It's going to definitely be a building, and it's going to have something up here, but I'm not sure what. I kind of want to say offices, but at the same time, would we really need those? I don't really think we would. I have 2 there, then 4 gap. That looks nice enough. For the back, I don't think we really need too much. I mean, this is just looking at the village. Looking over this lovely pond section and farm would be a lot nicer, but we could do something on the back, although we did just use fine windows, so making those is actually quite difficult, so perhaps we'll just leave it with only windows at the front. I think that's reasonable. Okay, so this, I want it to overhang forwards by 1. I want the maximum height to be a little bit lower, something like that. How'd that look? That looks annoying. That looks reasonable. We could do then is connect that to that, using the slabs, and using wood to make that kind of stick out a little bit. But then that looks really bare. The top section looks like we need something up there. It's very, very big, and that's silly. So let's take away that. With the windows a little bit higher, and then adding a roof which is a bit more evenly placed, that looks a lot better. And we have a new trader which will give me 1 stone mall, which I have absolutely no interest in. So that looks okay. Still no idea what we're going to do on the inside, but again, we can always add stuff like that after we've built it, thankfully, so that's no real bother. Is there anything else I want to do down here, though? I mean, we could hang up a couple of tapestries on the inside, considering that's the whole point of this building, to use them. Let's have at least 1. We'll build at least 1 tapestry, there we are. And the rest we can do afterwards. We can always edit a lot of stuff other than the walls and the roof as soon as we're finished. So yep, finished editing and build. We do need a bit more stone. Ooh! And the carpenter's building is done. Excellent. So we will do stuff with this later. Oh, now that's a fantastic idea, having some lights in the corners, and we actually do have those on the front. So that is something I will steal from that design. And let's go into this mine, and let's mine down by a whole 1. A new day and sadly no person yet again, and with that, I am actually all out of time for today's episode. The next episode will be fairly soon, essentially as soon as I post this and start seeing names for the new person and seeing your opinions on how we're going to continue this series. I will be posting at least 1 more video and start taking into consideration everything else. In the next video, we're going to really push our economy. Lots of new tailors, lots of new farmers, lots of everything to do with this. that, and we're going to start, maybe in the next episode, starting off the fighting campaign, the side campaign, whatever it's actually called, putting down the gongs so that we can summon harder enemies and defeat them, and once again, claim this land as our own. Our village is looking way better now, and we are certainly progressing very quickly. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Stonehearth is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.